Hey, it's Matt. Thanks for spending some time today listening to the 2 Hours with Matt Pinfield podcast. We are having so much fun putting out these in-depth conversations with the artists that you and I love. People like Matt Cameron from Soundgarden, the guys in the Struts, and most recently, Nick Valenci from The Strokes have all been guests over the last couple of weeks. Now, you can check out our 60-plus conversations on the podcast archive page at 2hoursmattpinfield.com. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming interviews with the Mowglis, the Heavy, and Saving Abel. Today, I'm joined by Taylor, Jamie, Ben, and Mark from the Pretty Reckless, who I love very much. We'll talk about the production of their latest album, Who You Sellin' For, and about the trials the band went through in recording their previous album, Going to Hell, changing labels, Hurricane Sandy destroying the studio they were recording in, and their producer, Kato, who I love very much, tragically losing his wife during the production. What an unbelievable thing to make it through. That's what we do. We power through things, don't we? And plus, we'll talk about the band's early influences and upcoming plans. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with the Pretty Reckless right now on the 2 Hours of Matt Pinfield podcast.
I'm Taylor.
This is Ben.
This is Jamie.
And Mark.
From the Pretty Reckless. Check out our conversation with Matt on the 2 Hours with Matt Pinfield podcast. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. It's 2 Hours with Matt Pinfield. And I'm hanging out with a band I love, the Pretty Reckless, who I'm well familiar with. And I just have to say, number one, congratulations on having a number one rock song again, which I think is so great. But
thank you so much.
Hey, it's good to talk to you again, Taylor. Last time we saw each other was at the Best Buy Theater.
I know, it's been too long.
It's been way too long. Now, I got to ask, Jamie, Ben, and Mark, too. I mean, we met when you were in Famous. Is that true? I mean, right?
Kind of. There's a long. It was
on the street at South by Southwest.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I thought we.
Good memory, bro.
Yeah, we didn't have the best memory of that night. I remember, but
no,
nobody does.
Yeah, I mean, it was South by Southwest, by the way.
It was. Yeah.
And there were many years where I just went, I got to go back to my hotel room after I anchored this DirecTV broadcast. For the right reasons, but anyway, you go back and forth. But when I ran into you guys at, I think, Welcome to Rockville, Rock on the Range, it was so cool. And then I finally ran into you again and met Taylor. And, I love the band. And I got to say, Taylor, one of the coolest things was, obviously you were so young when you were acting and doing Gossip Girl. And I've seen in interviews you've said, look, kind of felt like, man, you feel like when you're a child actor, and, I know so many people when they're young feel like they're being sold into slavery from their parents or, whatever the reason being, but it's exciting for a while. But I love the fact that you did this entire left turn and decided that music was your life and it was what you wanted to do. And it was just so cool. And then you hooked up with Kato, your producer, who I love dearly. I mean,
As do we.
Yeah, Kato and I, we've been through our things, and I remember we'd talk every morning and we'd send each other a gratuity list, the things to be grateful for. And I've had my definite problems with addiction and alcohol, and I've gone back and forth. But Kato, the things that he personally went through. Losing his wife the way that he did. I mean, in such a short span. And, being an only father. But he's such a lovely, amazing human being. And on top of that, a great producer. He's such a great guy.
And he's a great guy to know. He's an amazing guy to know.
One of our best friends.
He's one of our best friends.
Yeah. I love him with all my heart, man. I just, I've got to give him, not only is he so amazing in the studio, but as a human being, I love and appreciate him in a big way. So
yeah, no, he's a good guy to talk to in the morning.
Yeah.
And I understand.
Yeah.
Or at night.
Yeah, or anytime gets you through.
Or anytime.
Yeah. No, he really is. I'm really grateful that he's in my life, and I know you guys are he's in your life. Now, we always go through these stops and starts when we're in bands. Now, Taylor, when I first heard Make Me Want to Die, I was on a plane, and I went, wow. This is the real deal. This is the real shit. I loved it. I was like, I was totally in love with it. And I was like, I got to find out more about this band. And I know, there's like this, there's stops and starts with record labels many a times, like the stuff with Interscope. And now, of course, we have all these correlations with people involved in our lives. But tell me about, when you met Kato, what was the relationship like when you wanted to do rock? Obviously, you were into people like Beatles, Oasis, bands that I love, Pretenders, Joan Jett. I mean, so many people. And I love the fact that you were young, but you loved strong, assertive women, and that's who you were. And that's the thing that I love about women in rock. Those are the things that, that I admire and love. So tell me about the relationship, about first meeting Kato and when you decided you were going to do the band. I know Reckless was the name. And then, as usual, in the internet age, some cover band in Idaho might have had the name. And
in that case, it was actually a 70s band on Warner Brothers who was defunct, but
still owned
I think
it.
they had a record once in 1973 or something, but still owned it.
And they want to sell it to you guys for $100,000. You want the name? And you're like, look, man, we're just starting out. So tell me.
We'll just add a word. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I met Kato, and I think we immediately bonded just because we had the same musical taste. And I had worked with a lot of producers at that point. I was a singer-songwriter, and nothing had ever really clicked. I mean, we bonded immediately over the Beatles and Soundgarden. It was kind of instant.
Two of my favorite bands of all time.
As are both mine and Kato's.
And mine.
And then I met Ben through Kato, and same kind of scenario. We bonded over music, and we started writing together, and it just kind of was a very kismet, lucky meeting of minds, meeting of people that doesn't really happen very often in life, I think, just in general, and especially in music. It's hard to find musical partners that click that well, that quickly.
Yeah, finding that kindred spirit or somebody who loves the music, the mix of music that you do. And it's pretty cool because Ben Shepherd and Matt Cameron were just guests on this show, too. And Kim Thiel just told me his girlfriend, Roxanne, for years, just bought my autobiography for him for his birthday. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's totally cool, And I wrote some of the liner notes in the Telephantasm, and the Bad Motorfinger box set just came out, and it's amazing. It's so unconventional, confrontational, and it's still, it's just incredible. So, anyways, that said, which I love, we have the same taste. Beatles, what do you say, right? And then Oasis, I love, underappreciated in this country. I mean, but there are lots of cult fans who love that band. And Nirvana.
We all love Oasis.
Oh, yeah, so do I. And Nirvana, which, So there's so many things. So I love that. So tell me about writing Make Me Want to Die, because I always wondered about that song because I loved it so much.
She's pointing to me to talk about it.
It started with, I was on a small tour because I had never toured before with some friends of mine. This incarnation of the band hadn't really formed yet because everyone was doing different things at the time. We couldn't get it together.
Well,
so I called.
I didn't want. I wasn't a big touring guy. I wouldn't go on the road as a band for this. And Taylor and I were writing, and so some friends of ours went out on the road with her. Did a great job for a couple weeks. But this is
very
Taylor's
short.
like maybe 14. I don't know how old
14.
she was. 14 or 15, and she called.
I called you at like 3
in the morning.
morning.
To say inebriated, but this is all old past
sitting on a
stuff.
curb outside of a venue.
And she had this chorus.
I have this thing.
She had "You Made Me Want to Die, I'll Never Be." It was an incarnation of it, but it was "You Made Me Want to Die, I'll Never Be Good Enough," or whatever it was. And she had the whole melody. She had the whole thing. And then it just, when she got back, I had come up with some music.
And we fleshed it out. And
we fleshed it out.
Now it's the song it is today.
Yes.
Yeah, an incredible song as far as I'm concerned. I remember.
Can I tell this? Can I tell the real? Can I impart the
Say
real
whatever you want, guys. This is the real deal.
There was a little bit of a we had the song, and it was like it was a Romeo and Juliet vampire-y thing, and the Twilight movies were coming out, and it was like, hey, everybody wants some money. Put
We put the new moon.
Just putting the movie New Moon Twilight, which please none of us have ever, or at least I have not seen.
We're not.
Well, you're looking at me, bro.
Yeah, but
We're not quite
changed.
familiar. We just knew it was called New Moon.
In the song, there was a line that was, there's a blue moon on the rise, which kind of references, I'm a big Clapton fan. Taylor's, everyone around me is always been a big Clapton fan. But the blue moon solo and Sunshine of Your Love. So I got that blue moon line in there.
I'm like, well, if we just switch one word to new, maybe they'll use it.
So the original release of Make Me Want to Die, which was put out by like 17 magazines, I don't know what it was. It has New Moon, and it's actually the demo with a new moon on it. And
then we switched it back.
Then the
record
is the full blown out actual recording with the actual lyrics on it. Anyway, there's an anecdote if you wanted one.
No, it's cool. I mean, come on, Clapton, right?
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of cool things, he came down and spent time with the kids in that one charity I'm involved with, Road Recovery. And, for all the kids that are dealing with adversities, and hung out with them, like so many musicians have done. And what a great guy. I mean, just amazing, One of us, you know what I mean? So I love that. And, those songs, Disraeli Gears, I talk about it in my book too. But anyway, getting back to your stuff. And then, when you did, obviously, the Hit Me Like a Man EP, which was great. But then doing Going to Hell, which all of a sudden things started happening in a big way. So can you tell me about that progression and what was happening in your lives and what you think were the catalysts, the things that really ended up working to get your music across? And I feel like the UK got you first, which I thought was...
Yes.
So talk to me.
They certainly did.
Tell me about that.
Well, I think Light Me Up did much better overseas than it did in America.
So from our perspective, Light Me Up had a success to it. Like we were kind of...
Because we spent a lot of time overseas touring Light Me Up.
We just went somewhere else.
Yeah. And then with Going to Hell, it was kind of the reverse. We spent a lot of time in America and less time overseas. We still went over there, but not as much by any means.
So it kind of felt like one
kind of
tipped.
like flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And I mean, with making Going to Hell, we certainly went through the ringer of, from Hurricane Sandy destroying the studio to the passing of Cato's wife to all the,
Oh my God.
A lot of
the record's dedicated to her.
It's dedicated to her.
Lisa was a big part of our lives in the Going to Hell record. And before that.
She was very integral.
She was a very powerful force. She was a powerful woman. So anyway, that was...
So we went through a lot of devastating things while making that record, and I think that it's kind of imparted in the songs themselves.
I talk about that too, and Light Me Up and then Going to Hell. And when Cato, everything that happened to Cato in that period, like I said, Sandy, it took off part of the side of my house. I lost power. But for him to lose all that stuff in the studio, to be flooded, and all the stuff that went down. And then
it was all we were making Going to Hell during that, so it was all our stuff.
Yeah, it was all our stuff.
Oh, it was. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
It was your stuff.
We were in the
middle of the record,
and it wiped everything out. And I live in Lower Manhattan. I lost power. The whole thing. It's not a good time.
Yeah.
So we had to move out to Central Jersey and finish it at a place called the Barber Shop.
Yeah, Going to Hell was actually written in the blackout of Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah, the song.
The song.
Wow, I didn't know that. I just know, and I kind of want to explain it to the audience who's listening to us right now, and what a strong but beautiful human being Cato is. I didn't know Lisa, but I became friends with Cato after he went through all this stuff. But like losing the studio, all right, Sandy it hit us all. I lived in Harrison, New Jersey. I'm from Central Jersey, but I just got to say, when I found out what happened with the studio and then losing his wife, Lisa, and then the way it happened where she wasn't feeling well, she went into the hospital. The next day, they didn't really know how to diagnose it. And on the third day, he lost her, and she's a mother and she was his right hand. And you guys, obviously, she touched your lives. I was sad I never got to know her, but I just learned a lot from Cato's Resolve and coming back,
Yeah, no, coming back from that
Yeah.
that's all. This record, this new record is kind of a triumph for him. I think that it's
I think for all of us.
for all of us.
Yeah.
The new one.
Yeah.
He really has. He's got resolve.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man. But you know what? The thing is, I love the fact, though, too, he's really cool because he's a perfectionist. He'll talk about when he hears certain compression on your singles, he'll go, there's too much, not on production, but on, like on maybe, I don't want to say where he's talking about.
No, we all do that.
Yeah, we all do
we're
that.
all like that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's a little Matt. He goes, the only problem is it doesn't, you can't really hear correctly there. And I love that. I love the fact that, it means and matters so much to him. So tell me about, let's go through that succession of what happened during Going to Hell. So this place, the barbershop, what town was it in?
Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey.
So it's kind of like, kind of central, but a little west is what I'm guessing.
And in the bleakness of December, January, February. So it was kind of an odd
Cold.
place to go. But we finished the record there. We started it at Water, and then the
We
hurricane
finished
hit.
there, and then we actually finished it back at Water.
And then we had I think we were looking for a record deal. I don't remember what happened after that. But we did go back to Water and finish with Fucked Up World.
Which is a great song.
which was
Thank you.
the last song we recorded back at Water Music.
And
So
then
it kind
we-
of came full circle.
Then we met Razor and Tie.
Yep.
Yes.
So I think it was just a good timing of
Yeah.
band to label.
Oh, let me tell you, that's the other connection, and it's in my book, my autobiography that recently came out. And it's a musical lover's book. Kurt Stefik is in the book, and without
Awesome.
Kurt, I would have never ended up on MTV. So,
wow.
Yeah, I love Kurt. Kurt is
We love Kurt too.
he's
We
a
love
no.
Kurt.
he's
Hey,
a-
Kurt.
Kurt, what's up, buddy? He's a no
Yeah.
bullshit guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been friends for so many years. I hope you guys will read the book at some point so you can see.
We're gonna go read the book right now.
Yeah,
I'll
you
say
can.
that.
It's
I'm
not,
actually reading it right now.
or if you're on the road, Audible, you can listen to it and just download
Mark's got it on his phone right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Even better.
Right now.
Yeah. So, but there's a whole great story with me, and Kurt, in there, and it's a very honest, open, and balls to the wall, no bullshit book. So check it out, and
We
you'll
will. We
appreciate
definitely
it.
will.
But let's get back to you guys. So, making Going to Hell, it's cathartic, right? I mean, for some of the things that were going on, people you love are going through things around you. You're dealing with, Sandy and everything. God, that was just so brutal. And I think a lot of people don't understand. Unless you're in a situation like that, people can get desensitized that aren't right in the middle of what's happening. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
there are a lot of people I think who do understand,
Yeah.
especially in this day and age. But yeah, no, it was grueling.
Yeah. But
But
it was really great for, how many, were the songs written before Sandy hit?
most of
Most
them.
of them.
Yeah.
Some of them came later, but that's usually how all records go. We have a chunk of it and we start recording, and then things will come as we're in the process.
Yeah.
Follow Me Down, which is a song, that I've also loved, and Burn. So let's talk
Ooh,
about
all right.
those as well. So
Well, Follow Me Down opens Going to Hell.
Follow Me Down, Taylor was obsessed with Lolita
Yes.
at the time.
I was obsessed.
was it the original version of the movie or a
Yes.
book? Yeah.
Well, it was
the
Kubrick.
book
It was
and
Kubrick.
Kubrick.
Yeah.
And so all the videos on Going to Hell, Taylor wanted to make Kubrick-esque, and without Kubrick-esque money and
Yeah.
Kubrick-esque genius, we kind of fell short on
It kinda
Kubrick-esque.
became a little difficult.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my Lolita tale, because I was very obsessed with that at the time.
So that's what Follow Me
That's what
Down,
Follow Me Down
I
is.
recall.
Burn. How did Burn come about?
Burn was just a ditty,
Yeah.
but it was cool.
Kubrick, right? Are you guys big Kubrick fans? I mean,
We
Yeah.
all are, yeah.
Of course.
Doctor
I
Strange.
think our drummer actually started it, and then
Yeah.
Jamie,
I'll take
our
credit
drummer,
for
is
that.
a lot of the first listen. He was the first guy who got me into Soundgarden,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of my favorite bands of all time, like I said.
and it now is, yes.
And but Kubrick, It's funny. Vincent D'Onofrio is a great friend of mine, who was in Full Metal Jacket. And, of course, he was the one who shot himself in that movie. And he always...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, man, if you have I think most people have seen it. You know what I mean? But he was so young then. And he goes to me, because, we became really good friends. I helped him with a charity of his and, introduced one of his films at the Woodstock Film Festival. But we talk about Kubrick, and he goes to me, yeah. He goes, it was my first movie, and it was all downhill from there. But of course it's not. But it was a great line, because Full Metal Jacket, Clockwork Orange. How many great movies? We could go
all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
And the guy was so brilliant. So I'm glad you got obsessed with the original, because that's the truth. A lot of remakes don't necessarily cut it, but that's cool that's
agreed.
Where, right. So so Fucked Up World, which became Messed Up World, of course, for radio. All right. Yeah. All right.
Much to our chagrin.
So that was written after the flood, right, and after Sandy. You're saying
that was written after Lisa passed.
That was written after everything.
Everything.
It was kind of.
It was at the end.
It was the very end, and it was kind of, we had been through such the ringer at that point that we had nothing left to say other than it's a fucked up world.
Yeah, we're all going to hell, by the way. And Taylor, I know I was raised Catholic as well, so there you go. So I get it. So speaking of which, Heaven Knows. Tell me about that song as well.
Well, Heaven Knows came about it started as kind of just a little ditty. It was going to be either like an intro or an interlude on the record of just this.
Because we just had the chorus.
We just had the chorus. And then as we sat with it, we kind of went, well, this is too good to just throw away as an interlude. So it started to develop into a full song. And the idea of having a response of, a call and answer response.
Well, there was this kind of thing on the record. We had these three songs. We had Going to Hell, House on a Hill, and Heaven Knows. And they kind of all went together in this. They kind of said something as a triplet. As a piece. But it originally, Heaven Knows, was in between them as just a chorus with a kid's response going into the next song. And then someone said,
let's make this a full song.
One of me and Taylor went, let's put a verse to it.
Very cool that you did. And, when you found out.
It worked out well for us.
It certainly did. And, I have to ask you, I love Chrissie Hynde. Her and I get along really great. She's super cool. First time I heard the Pretenders' first album, I loved how tough she was, strong. And wasn't it cool to become the second female-fronted band to achieve 2 number ones in a row on a chart behind the Pretenders?
It's a very wild feeling, to say the least.
You a big fan of Chrissy's?
Yeah, of course. She's
how can you not
Chrissy.
be?
How can you not be?
Yeah, exactly.
It's. I'm not sure how to feel about it. It's very wild, but very cool.
Yeah, and that one cartoon it was a webisode, but on VH1 Classics, Matt Pinfield Rock Stories. I love what she told me. She goes, Matt. She goes, when I was coming up, girls wanted to fuck Jimi Hendrix. I wanted to be Jimi Hendrix. I love that. It was fucking brilliant.
Well, my line was, I wanted to fuck Jimmy Page and wanted to be Robert Plant. So
yeah, there you go. And you know what? That's fantastic, right?
Everybody wants to be a dude.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be a dude.
Yeah. So when you were at the Golden Gods Award for Revolver with Joan Jett and Billy, how was that fun? Did you and Joan actually hang out? Did you talk? What was that?
Yeah, I played with her a couple times. We were on tour at the time, so we
Joan's
met
a
up.
badass.
She's super awesome, so sweet, so cool.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I love her.
Super great, great person, and obviously a super talent. So it was super fun to get to play with her.
Yeah, so tell me, what I love is the new album, Who You Selling For, which, by the way, is a great name. So I have to ask you the origin of the title of the album because I love it. Can you just tell me?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, I enjoy saying it on the radio every night. It's just fun,
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. So go ahead and tell me where you got the title.
Well, it's a song on the record. So we took it from that.
And probably one of the first songs
And probably,
we had for the record.
yeah, one of the first songs written for the record. And when we finished the record and we were going through options of titles, that one just kind of stuck out as striking, and we liked the idea of posing a question to the audience instead of defining something so heavily like we did with Going to Hell, and leaving it open for interpretation and seeing how the audience is going to react to it. And it worked, because any interview I've done, everyone has a different take on it, and that's kind of what we wanted to do by posing a question that allowed the audience to think for themselves.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and the content of the song itself kind of could be the top tier with branches coming out to the other songs. That's kind of the lyrically or whatever. I don't know.
No, it's true.
It's true.
The bridge in that is lyrically kind of branches out and covers everything.
When you did the third album, and Take Me Down, of course, went to number one. I mean, it's just, I love, the records, and that you're consistently having these number one records. Take Me Down is such a great tune. I need to ask you about that as well.
Well, that one came about. I mean, obviously,
he'll know all this, so you can talk
you're
to
gonna
him
know
about
all
it.
this.
So Taylor was obsessed
I'm
with
obsessed with the movie Crossroads with Ralph Macchio and Steve Vai.
I love that movie.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says.
Very underrated movie. It's fantastic.
She thinks it's a fantastic movie, not just everything about it.
Not just
like
the
Taylor
music. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. So I was watching that a lot while we were writing. And obviously, the Crossroads is a big theme since it's called Crossroads.
And she was listening to all the Robert Johnson
I was listening to all the
stuff,
Robert Johnson stuff, and obviously Clapton, and the story of selling your soul for rock and roll, and the classic Robert Johnson story, which I feel like I kind of did in one way. I mean, I gave everything up in my life for it, which you have to do. If you have to give everything to music, and that means losing family, it means losing a home, it means losing all these things that come with a normal life, because you have to dedicate yourself so immensely to music in order for you to do it justice. So I think we've done that. I think all of us have done that, and so that's where that song kind of came about.
I've got to say it's true. I mean, I'm bringing it back to myself just to make it relatable and be honest. It's in my book. I mean, because of my love for rock and roll, my marriages fell apart. Obviously, my addiction and alcoholism became an issue in my life. But, I love music, and it will always be
music
that
saves.
thing. It does. It does save.
It's the one thing I can always turn to, and it'll always save you.
Yes, and I got to tell you, you've got two people that I know on this album as well. And Tommy Burns, who played with Billy Joel, is a friend of mine.
Awesome. Yeah, he's
Loves
awesome.
Tommy. Isn't he a great guy? He's the coolest.
That is awesome.
We love Tommy.
Yeah, it was a fun day.
Man, I have dinner with him in Little Italy, and we just hang out. He's so cool and such a good guy,
He felt like when he came in, he left after the session, and he was like, I'm basically Billy Preston, right? I just came in to make the vibe fun, because that's what it feels like. He was
And he did.
Yeah, he's so cool, man. I love Tommy.
He brought in a little breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And you played with Warren Haynes, who's, of course, from Jacksonville, Florida, where my youngest daughter, lives right now and was born. And, but Warren's great, too. Tell me about how Warren got involved in the project.
Well, we recorded the song Back to the River with Tommy on it and Andy Burton on keys. 4 acoustic guitars set up. We're all playing in a room together as a jam, and we basically picked a take. And at the end, originally Ben was going to play slide on it, but do you want to take it from there, Ben?
Well, it's kind of the story. Before we even recorded it, we should get Warren Haynes to play the solo on this had come up.
Would make a lot of sense.
But nobody kind of listened to me.
Shocking.
Nor did we necessarily think we could get to him.
Well, it was a slide solo that was needed, and I'm not a shredding slide guitar player. And
he's amazing.
You're decent, but you're not Warren Haynes.
And he's amazing. And plus, I'd like to have, who doesn't want Warren Haynes to come and play the solo on your thing?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because he can sound like he is Government Mule. He is the Allman Brothers, so that is the sound.
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy, too.
Well, he was on tour, so we couldn't get him to come in, and so we had to remotely do it with him, but still getting the tracks back and hearing just a guitar of Warren Haynes playing, it was astonishing. He's amazing.
Yeah, we lost Dwayne Allman so young,
Mm-hmm.
and we love Dickie, all those guys, Barry Oakley, playing bass. God, those songs are unbelievable.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. Yeah.
They really are. Whip and Post for me will just always be one of my favorite songs.
Oh, absolutely.
Again,
one of my
Taylor's
favorites.
Of all time. Every time I hear that bass opening, I lose. I'm just like, it just
So good.
all of a sudden, I just start to feel something inside. It's so great. You know what I
We have
mean?
no idea how much we talk about Whipping Post as a band.
So amazing.
Yeah, it is.
That's why Jamie's laughing right now because he got calls this summer with we just listen to this. We got to be better. We got to be like this.
Yeah, because, man, that is just like insane. And I became friends with Elijah, Greg's and Cher's son. And we would talk about, how those brothers took care of each other. And to lose Dwayne so young. And, of course, he played that unbelievable riff on Layla and Derek and the Dominoes and all that stuff. And the brothers. So I love that stuff, too. So I'm so glad that you had Warren come on and play. And we love a lot of the same music, obviously.
Yes.
So there
And we
you
were
go.
glad too. He took that song and just elevated it to a whole new level. Like he really just brought it to life.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's an amazing player, great guy. All right, Oh My God, is that the next single? We've been hearing rumors about it. Is it?
It is.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I was supposed to say that yet, but exclusive for you. Yes.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is because obviously I want you guys to talk about it so that we can cut it into the show when it's new. So, and also, have you tell the story behind the song. So tell me a bit about Oh My God.
Oh My God was one of the first songs written for the record. One of the ones that we probably worked on the longest, but at the same time came the quickest, if that makes sense. It started kind of as a poem that I wrote of this kind of stream of consciousness, just emoting and getting my thoughts on paper.
When you say poem, it was a song.
It was
you
a
had,
song.
oh
Well,
my God.
it was a structure.
You
but
had the structure and the.
But there's not really kind of a melody to it.
No, there was a melody to it. There just wasn't music behind it.
No, the song itself doesn't really have a kind of a melody. It's more of a attack. So I had this thing, but I didn't have music for it, and so I brought it to Ben, and Ben came up with a shredding riff.
But there's like 40 verses to it.
They
There's
go,
like a
they
Bob
go
Dylan.
on forever.
It's like a Dylan too. What was the song? I don't know. There's some rolling Dylan song that has like tons of verses.
That goes on for like 10 minutes.
Tangled Up in Blue or something where he just has tons of verses.
Or any of the end of Blonde on Blonde, what I mean?
anything.
Which is one of my favorite albums. But
so she wrote.
Oh My God! No, Oh My God literally has like 20 pages of lyrics.
Right, and she wanted to put most of them in and just go fuck it. Just at the end of it, just keep going and keep going
and keep going
and keep going and keep going. I'll just sing all the things that I'm thinking, and eventually you kind of have to
cut it down.
Eventually, Jamie gets tired.
Eventually, Jamie can't. Yeah, Jamie.
Eventually, I'll just fall over.
Yeah,
which is but it's great. So when you do write lyrics, Taylor, I have to ask you, do you buy notebooks? Because I know that some people, Dylan used to type fast on an old school typewriter to write his lyrics. He would sit there and just do it. But, I always find when you have ADD like me, it's easier to write what you're thinking on notepads. Is that what you did? Do you buy notebooks and do it that way and then transcribe
I do.
it?
I have boxes and boxes of notebooks.
So how many pages was, Oh My God, when you were done? Do you remember how many pages it was?
Too many?
No, I thought it was like 3 or 4 pages though.
Oh,
It's still cool.
that's
I
not,
love it.
No, that's not enough. Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, I guess so. They're
What
small
do you-
notebooks.
Yeah, they're not.
Maybe
they're
it
not,
was a notebook.
They're not legal pads. They're
Yeah.
they're notebooks.
I think there's. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, I like to write in pen and paper if I can. I always try to carry a notebook and a pen with me.
Yeah.
I will occasionally jot down something in my phone and notes if I don't have it, but
Yeah.
I don't have pen and paper on
No
me.
one trusts technology.
But I don't
here.
trust technology, so I try not
Yeah.
to do that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You lose things. There's no question about it. But, yeah, sometimes at least you'll sit there and you'll record into your phone so you don't forget ideas, maybe a melody or lyrics. But, yeah, writing on pen and paper, it just feels like a very, very natural way to do it.
I'll carry a little recorder too because no one trusts the cloud. I don't understand the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I mean, it's really funny. I always think that some of the phones are made to like shit out and die. You know what I mean? Like at a certain time, like we got the new model. All of a sudden it
Planned
malfunctions.
obsolescence.
You lose everything. You know what I mean? Like every song that you backed up into a computer. But anyway, I think that's great. All right, so I need to ask you, hey Ben, who are some of your favorite writers of all time, and you know what made you want to play?
You get another hour, Matt?
Yeah, no. Like, yeah, hey, man, I got all the time in the world. I love talking music with people. If I wasn't doing it for a living, I'd be doing it somewhere, and just I'd be doing it regardless. So anyway, go ahead and tell me.
Well, they all have spent 16 hours in cars with me while I sit there and proselytize about a Pink Floyd record or something.
Or flicking the radio like a madman.
ADD DJ.
Well,
yeah, that's me. Oh, I know.
I've listened to it all. I know what it is. I know what I want to take from it. I'm a Beatles guy from childhood, but like I was brought up. I liked looking backwards from what I liked, and finding the building blocks that took them there. So I think I've become kind of general when it comes to writing and writers that I look at now, because you can go back so far.
I mean, there's so many great ones.
You start by going back to Chuck Berry and stuff like that, and then you go back to the blues, and then you go back to and then you start adding jazz and classical and everything else, and then you're listening to cavemen hitting drums and going, oh, I get where a backbeat came from.
Yeah, exactly.
But Beatles, Roger Waters and David Gilmour.
All great. You know, I interviewed them.
And Dylan. The class. That Renaissance period really was that. So
you mean like 60s, 65 to 60s?
The Dylan, the Beatles, the Who's, those guys.
Love
the
them
greats.
all. It's funny, that was the thing. I always start my two daughters. I started them off on the Beatles. You know, drive around playing the Beatles, sing the Beatles with them. That was what we did.
You got to. It's still amazing.
And in the book, because you guys love Oasis, I talk about how, when I went through a divorce, I would always sit and I would drive around with my oldest daughter, and sing "Live Forever" with her by Oasis. And it was just one of those, one of those things. But yeah, I'm, love my daughters, very close to both of them. But it's. Music is that thing, man. It's that connecting thing. Now, Taylor, for you, tell me what you were listening to, the first thing that really made you say, I want to write music I want to write songs. I want to express myself. This is my
Beatles.
Yeah. I mean, it all starts there, It
all starts there. I mean, my dad is a massive, massive rock fan. So pretty much the day I was born, he was playing me the Beatles, and it stuck.
What else did he play?
How can it not? Got the Beatles.
You're
Dylan.
named after Mick Jagger.
I'm named after Mick Jagger. The same birthday as him. He's a huge Stones fan. Neil Young, Bowie. Yeah.
All the stuff I love.
All the Who, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
All the bands we're talking about.
All the bands we're talking about. It's all the same. It's why this band works. We all have the same musical taste.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing, especially when you're on the road together. It's just like, it's a good thing. You can.
Yeah,
really
no one has to argue over the stereo, which is good.
Yeah. Well, I hate to keep bringing up my own thing, but, if you read my book, it starts with me interviewing Paul McCartney and knowing his voice actually. Only as long as I've known my immediate family's voice since I was like 3.
Yeah.
And then when I got the call, to do the album special for New, and I hadn't run into each other in a while. It's just like it's that. Did the Stones, did Pete Townsend, I interviewed Gilmore and Waters. But I mean, the book and Bowie, of course, being one of my biggest influences, and my surreal thing that happened with him. There's a whole chapter. So I hope you guys will read the book. But
I absolutely will.
Yeah, but I just got to say, we have the exact same musical taste.
No, I mean, Bowie's passing was devastating on all of us.
We should have read the book before coming into the
I know,
interview because
right?
it sounds like I would have talked a lot about it. We would have had a lot of things to ask.
The thing I like.
We'll come back.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll read the book and come back and interview you.
Yeah, I mean, guys, honestly, that would be actually
We're not kidding.
one of the new signings. I should have you guys actually do the Q&A. But anyway, I'm sorry I'm thinking about that. I just want to say though, honestly, I love that, and that's why what we're doing is very much a conversation, because I think it's too many interviews and I'm sure you agree, someone holding a card asking you a question, or the questions are, standard.
Same.
Yes. And,
Yeah.
so I love just actually talking about music and your lives with you, and that's what this is all about. So it's very cool.
Well, we love it too. It's quite refreshing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So let's talk about touring right now and what's going on with who you selling for, and how much longer are you going to be on the road? And when are you coming to San Francisco, where I live now?
Well, this tour wraps, this North American first short little run. We're doing wraps on the 6th in Los Angeles.
We're just dipping our feet in the water right now.
Very much so. Slowly adding new material, but we're in UK and Europe in the new year. And
Want me to just give a
yeah,
spiel?
you do it, because I take it on a day-to-day basis, or I get overwhelmed. So here, Ben, you can do the touring.
I have ADD, so I know. Go ahead. I'm not saying you do, but I do.
No, I do the wake up and ask where I am thing.
Yeah, which is so. I mean, it's what so many musicians go through, because you're moving forward all the time at the speed of sound, the speed of light. So anyway, Ben, tell me what's going on.
I think we'll be on the road a long time.
Yeah.
We're just starting. And so we just finished a few months in the U.S., and we're going to go to Europe in January. In March, we go to South America for a full South American tour, which will be our second one, which we're excited to get back to there.
Yeah, because they love rock and roll still so much.
They do.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
There's some seriously fun shows.
Then we come back for the U.S. festivals like Rock on the Range, which just got announced today, which has Soundgarden and Metallica.
What a bill. Danny Wimmer, those guys are doing it right.
You got to give it to them. Yeah. They're keeping it alive.
Yeah, he's a good man. We've been friends forever. Anyway, but I love that. Rock on the Range.
And then
Rockville, are you going to do all those?
Yeah, we're doing all those. And
Aftershock, you think?
We just did Aftershock. That's in the beginning of September. So I think this tour started with Aftershock.
Yeah, I think that was.
So then we go back around the world. We'll be back in the U.S. for a couple of tours, and it'll be Australia 2018 probably, all that stuff. So it's just
Australia,
constant
Russia,
world.
China. We're going everywhere.
Being in Russia in a couple times.
Guys, do you ever try to write yourself to warmer places?
You have no idea.
The amount of times we've asked to play in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Dude, Saskatoon in February.
I don't know.
Beautiful.
I think it must be a thing with agents and bands, the bands they like or something. They tour you correctly that you're in the warm areas in the cold seasons.
Yeah.
Because we just the northern part of our tour comes in November. How about the southern part of our tour coming in November?
Swap it. That would be nice.
Yeah, Australia and the other side of the world. It's always you're okay, perfect time to leave is winter. Here we go.
Everyone always asks that question.
It's funny.
We don't know the answer
to it.
I know, but it's always it's routed that way. And look, hey man, I don't blame him. It means you have
you got to go where you got to go,
and it means you have a good booking agent if he's doing it the right way. So tell me about being on the road with Holy White Hounds, because they're a cool band. Tell me about it. How's
really
that
good dudes.
They're really good dudes. We were just hanging with them on the bus last night.
Yep.
Yeah, they're very funny, very
They're
nice.
very funny. Yeah,
Real punk rock mentality.
Yeah,
cool.
Feeding them donuts.
Yeah, that's cool.
A very chill band, just good guys. When people are good people, when you're touring, you're doing the grind together, and when they're good dudes who are just, you see them when you wake up, and they just got a joke to tell, and they're just good dudes.
Yeah, it's always good. I mean, to be on the road with people that are really cool,
Yeah.
So I want you guys definitely, I wish you guys all the best. I appreciate you checking out my book, because there's an Oasis chapter, there's stuff about the Beatles, and there's all this stuff about Soundgarden. In fact, like I said, so I'd love you to read it just because, And I'm sorry, I'm not.
No, it literally sounds like every chapter I'm super interested in. So.
And we're on tour. We have nothing to do
we
but
have nothing
read.
to do but read. So.
And Kurt Stefik, who is a champion and an amazing guy who's been, working with you guys at Razor and Tie, he gets a lot of love in there. So, you got to read it. I just think you'll appreciate it. But more importantly, I love the new album as much as I did the other two. And I'm just really grateful that you guys are back. And I'm really happy for you. I mean, how great it's been doing. I love the show at the Best Buy Theater. I love the last time I saw you. Was it Rockville or was it Rock on the Range? I'm trying to remember which one it was.
I don't know which one was first.
Yeah.
Blend to us,
blend together. Whatever the last one was, that was the last time we saw you.
I think the Best Buy was the last time we saw you.
Yeah, that was the
right.
last time. And then right before that, we finally all connected at one of the Danny Wimmer Presents festivals. And
whatever was on the water, there was water there that day.
Yeah.
Oh, it was on the water. It was definitely Welcome to Rockville, Jacksonville, Florida. Which was very cool. But anyway, I just wanted to say, so appreciate you coming in today and hanging out with me. And, it's so good to catch up with you again,
Well, thank you for having us. You too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it just makes me super happy. That's how great the band is doing. I love it. And we will connect on the road, I'm sure. And I want to thank you.
We will.
Yes.
I want to thank you. It's Taylor.
We'll be in L.A. on this next week. If you're in L.A., you probably won't be. But
yeah, I mean, I'm here in San Francisco. I moved out here. I just moved my girlfriend out here with her dog.
Do you love it? We have a friend who just moved to San Francisco.
Oh, I love it, man. I live in North Beach, which is like, everybody looks out for each other. It's like a real cool, artsy, just cool neighborhood. It's just, and the vibe is just great, So we're out here now. We took a 12-hour drive on that Sunday after Thanksgiving with the dog. It took us 12 hours up to 5 to get back, but, it was worth it. Every minute of the gruelingness. I'm sure you guys, I can't really complain to a touring band about the kind of thing.
We were in Green Bay, Wisconsin on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, right? Exactly.
Madison.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know Madison. Man, you believe Madison is where we lost Otis Redding? I mean, it was crazy. He crashed into that, the rivers there. But anyway, I want to thank you again, and we will connect soon. So it's Taylor, Ben, Jamie, and Mark. And I so appreciate you being here. The new album is Who You Sellin' For, and it's out right now on Razor and Tie. And we will see you guys when you get back from the rest of your world tour. And I hope you have a great holiday. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. You
Thanks,
too.
Matt.
Love you guys. We'll speak to you soon. Thanks so much for doing it, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
You got it. 2 hours with Matt Pinfield with the Pretty Reckless. I need to say thank you again to Taylor, Jamie, Ben, and Mark from the Pretty Reckless for joining me on the podcast today. Such a great hang with them. Now, the new album, Who You Sellin' For, is available everywhere you buy music or consume music. I want to thank Brian, Jeff, and the whole team at Westwood One in Denver for hosting the band. Deborah, Alicia, and everyone here at Cumulus San Francisco for connecting us today. And of course, I have to thank you for listening, because without you, this wouldn't even be worth doing. But I'm so glad you're here. So thanks for hanging out. We put these out because we know that you want to hear these in-depth conversations with the bands you care about and love. Now, I'm having an absolutely great time chatting with my old friends and new up-and-coming bands. Now, me and Ted love doing this, so check out the podcast archive page at 2hoursmattpinfield.com. Now, if you feel like listening to our 60-plus previous episodes, any of them, you go back and check out which bands or artists you love. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming interviews with Saving Abel, the Mowglis, and Zach Starkey's new band. You, of course, know him from playing drums with Oasis for a while, playing drums with The Who, and being the son of Ringo Starr. He's got a brand new band, and they're awesome, and they're called Shh, and we will have an interview with them as well. New episodes every Monday and Thursday, and you can find a full schedule on our Facebook page. On Monday, I'll be joined by the British band The Heavy. Till then, I'm Matt Pinfield. Thanks for listening to the 2 Hours with Matt Pinfield podcast.